What is somatic therapy, anyways? We hear all about it all of the time. I want to talk to you today about what somatic therapy is, what it means to be a somatic therapist, and how I use somatic therapy when I work with individuals and relationships. Hi, my name is Ayla Alt. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, individual and relational therapist who specializes in working with folks who are late diagnosed neurodivergent. This especially means autism and ADHD, as I am a late diagnosed ADHDer. Lived experience, of course, means that me too. I am not just teaching about it and working with it, I am also experiencing it myself. So, somatic therapy is something that I knew I wanted to be a part of as soon as I went to grad school to be a therapist. I knew that from my own experience working with body work, with mindfulness, including Vipassana and meditation, that there's so much healing that can be done in the body that often gets lost truly with just cognitive therapy or CBT, as well as more purely talk therapy based modalities. Somatic therapy really just means we are working with the body, or we're really being intentional to bring in the body with the work that we're doing in therapy. Soma is basically another word for the body. Now, there are lots of different ways to be a somatic therapist, and there's lots of different ways to be doing somatic therapy. So, let me just talk about a few because I feel like one of the questions I always love to ask my colleagues if I am collaborating with them around a client or meeting them and getting to know their work is okay, there's lots of different ways to be a somatic therapist. How do you do it? I attended a somatic, well, technically, it was called a somatic soul based trauma processing course when I was still in grad school, like the little ADHD overachiever that I am. And one of the things that I really learned is that there's a lot of different modalities that are part of somatic therapy, and there's not just one way to do it. So, my definition of somatic therapy is really taking into account the nervous system and that bottom up processing versus just the top down processing when we are making sure that we are resourcing our clients and doing our interventions, whether it's individual or couples therapy. Now, what does bottom up and top down mean? Bottom up basically means the processing from the body into the brain that happens. Now, I don't have the exact number right in front of me. I probably should know, but the processing from the through the nerves, right, from your body to your brain is very, 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 very fast. So much faster than from your brain and the signals that are sent through your nerves to your body. And this is why there is so much focus and so much intention, and why somatic therapy has become so popular. Now, you've probably heard of somatic experiencing. I'm not a somatic experiencing practitioner. I think they do a lot of great work. Somatic experiencing was created by Peter Levine, who is one of the um, researchers and therapists that I admire and have learned so much from. The somatic training that I took at the Somatic Wilderness Institute, which I think has changed names since, in Boulder, Colorado, they taught kind of more of an amalgam, right? So not just one theory or not just one experience or just one modality. They brought in a lot of different modalities, including Hakomi and Pat Ogden's modalities. There's a lot to it, and that's generally how I prefer to work. Now, most of the time, if someone's a somatic therapist, they are using the lens of polyvagal theory, which I could spend a whole video on because I'm a little bit of a polyvagal nerd. But basically, when we say polyvagal theory, or someone saying, they're a polyvagal therapist, what they're doing is talking about the branching nervous system, cranial nerves, that are inherent in all humans that really are a part and really run the fight, flight, freeze, fawn systems in our body, as well as our ventral social engagement systems. Now, again, there's so much we can go into, and it really deserves a few videos of its own. But I want to talk about the nervous system because it's such a key part of somatic therapy and trauma work and taking care of ourselves. So, I'm not just an individual therapist, I'm also a relational therapist. As a relational therapist, I am still doing somatic work with my clients. Somatic work can look as small and subtle as, oh, where do you feel that in your body? Or go ahead and look into your partner's eyes and take a deep breath together. 2, let's practice some meditation. Let's do a body scan, right? 2, oh gosh, I can really see that you're feeling ungrounded. Let's make sure that we're sitting in our seats and take a minute to feel the back of your body, right? All those places of contact with ground. 2, okay, so what we're going to do is some ventral vagal exercises. Here's step 1, 2, and 3. And let's also focus on the body. What are you noticing in the body? What is that? What's that impulse that your body wants to do, right? With all of this therapy work that with all the therapy work that I do, I am tracking somatically people's bodies, right? And you do it too. We all do it. We all attune. You may have heard this word. To attune is to track, is to kind of match wavelengths with another person. And we do it all the time with especially our loved ones, but our friends, our kids, our partners. And you'll notice it, when you kind of start to breathe at the same rate, or you're getting a hug from somebody that you love and care about. And after about 20, 30 seconds, it feels really good. And you can just feel your heart rate start to come down. You can kind of feel your body start to relax, right? Body work is another form of somatic therapy. It's just purely somatic. And that's why often you'll hear it called body work. Body work as massage therapy or chiropractic or acupuncture. All of these are different types of ways of treating the body. I like to incorporate all of these things. Now, what I always like to remind folks who are looking for somatic therapy specifically that we will still do some talk therapy, right? Because I can't talk to your body only. As a therapist, I don't touch, I'm hands off, right? That's for body workers to be more hands on. And whenever we are doing therapy, we're really trying to reconnect that mind body, or at least the way I prefer to do therapy. I really want to help reconnect that mind body because there can be a lot of disconnection because of trauma, because of our neurotypes, because of the world that we live in and the conditioning that we've had, right? And it can be really, helpful coping in some ways, but it can be really maladaptive in other ways. And so what we want to do is really reestablish that connection if it's not there, or hone that connection and use it if it is. What I really, really love to do with folks is to start to assess, right, and resource, right? Resourcing ourselves, AKA making sure that we are feeling good in our body, or that we know how to feel good and grounded and relaxed, or as relaxed as we can be, is one of the most important parts of therapy because it helps us do the rest of the work. We cannot, unfortunately, do a lot of work, especially that deep, deep work, if we are not feeling safe and resourced in our bodies. So when you're looking for a somatic therapist, check in, right? And also for yourself, like, oh, what kind of body-based, attention and awareness am I okay with? What am I not okay with, right? Does breathing feel, have I done a breathing exercise before and it was really, really helpful? Or did that kind of make my anxiety worse? Did I really enjoy, doing some shakes? Do I find myself dancing in order to relieve stress? Or is that something that I feel really, really disconnected from? Right? Is there something that, when I start to think about it and I am not resourced in therapy, wow, I'm not doing well. I can't even go there because my body isn't ready. Those are really good indications that somatic therapy, or at least somatic interventions, might be really, really helpful for you. So there's so many more things I can talk about. I would love to share more if it's of interest to you. So to hear any questions or comments, I'd love to hear, what you think about somatic therapy in general. I hope this has given you a little bit more of an idea of how I, as a therapist, work with somatic therapy. And a lot of these examples that I shared are things that I do both with my individual clients as well as my relational clients. So I hope this is helpful. I will be sharing in a few videos some somatic exercises that I hope will be helpful for you. And I will probably update this with links below once I do. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.